I come up with all of the ideas for my newsletter. Chat GPT does not come up with any of my ideas. It kind of ties back to what Jamie was saying earlier. I have an idea, I have a concept. I typically take it from one of my social media posts. So what I do is I go to Chat GPT for that particular thread and say, okay, I am writing Wednesday's edition of the Social Agent Pro newsletter. Wednesday's edition is about the social media tip of the week. Please use this post from Instagram from last week, or please use this post that I plan to post next week. Take the context from it. Here's what I want the subject line to be, and here's what I want the final point to be at the end. Please write my newsletter. And it will write it out based on the information I gave it. It's about 75% right. I'll go back in and tweak it, and then I'll say, here's my final newsletter that I ended up writing. It's never perfect because I always want the formatting to be something different. I want to emphasize something. I want to put my own special flair. But every time I do that and change it, I copy and paste it back in and say, hey, this is what I want instead. So every time I go back, it's getting a little bit better and better and better. So I'm going on vacation tomorrow. I'm going to be gone for a week, right? I'm going to take a little bit of time off from social media, but my newsletter is going to keep going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I've already pre-scheduled all my newsletters. So what I did was I went in and said, hey, I'm going on vacation next week. I need to pre-schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday newsletters. Monday is for the video department, which is the section of my newsletter. Wednesday is the social code, and Friday is Chat GPT. Please analyze my best performing Instagram posts from the past month and generate a newsletter for each of those 3 days for my best performing posts. Go. I changed 50 words. I had to modify the formatting a little bit, but I only changed 50 words and it generated it all. So I just copy and pasted it into Flowdesk and scheduled it. Done. But that's because I've been training it and giving it response and feedback. So going back to this prompt, this is what I call a starter, right? Start a thread with this prompt. Keep asking for business profile update posts only in that prompt. And it's going to start remembering across it as well. But when you give it back responses, say, hey, this is for a future Google Business Profile post, because that's what that thread is about. If you say, hey, use this in all future responses, you could ask for a video script, and it's going to have all this stuff in the video script. Does that make sense?
Would you recommend prompting in the thread versus creating a GPT specific for each?
I do like the threads over GPTs. I like how you can construct a GPT and you can load resources into it. I do think that is neat, but I feel like I lose a little bit of control when I build those GPTs because I like to be able to reset. I don't use a lot of GPTs. I have used some in the past, but it does a lot of auto prompting and stuff for you. I find that I much prefer using this window than creating GPTs specifically, because sometimes I like to do resets. And this, when I'm here, it learns across each one. When you create a GPT, it's staying in a silo, right? It stays in a silo. So it doesn't learn outside of that. I want it to always learn what I'm doing, because for the most part now, I can just go in and I use the voice one a lot now. Have you guys tried the voice one on your phone yet? I love doing, like, and when I'm in the car, I'll have a conversation when I'm going somewhere. Like if I need to do some ideation, right? Or I want to educate myself. It's like, I need to learn some better sales copy for this. Like, what should I know? And we'll just have a conversation. Or, it's really handy when I'm cooking and I run out of something. I'm like, okay, how do I substitute baking soda? Like I like using the voice version, which is kind of fun, but I prefer this layout right here. I prefer being able to work inside the threads as opposed to GPTs.
I saw somebody using it as a translator the other day where it would actually, it would say, translate for me. This person's going to say this in Spanish. I'm going to say this in English. I thought that was pretty impressive. We got like 10 minutes left. I want to go through some other automations before we get out. But if you have questions, please drop them in, because I want to make sure that we get these questions answered before. And if you found this valuable so far, drop a 1 in the chat. What other automations are you creating with Chat GPT?
So what do you mean by automations?
So I know there's a way to take like Zapier, right? You take Zapier and that prompt that you made for Google Business where it will do the zaps. Is that something you're using on a weekly basis, or are you or are you not even using the automation part of it anymore?
I've explored the stuff with Zapier and like doing automated posts for Google Business Profiles. But I find I like to review everything, right? Even for people I'm helping do like manage their business profiles for them, I like to have that actual review process instead of just having it automatically post stuff, because it's when it posts stuff, it's us, right? Like for me, I have a really hard time just letting it do stuff for me. Like I want to be able to review. It's like a final QA QC check. And then, hey, if these work, yeah, you can then set up the Zap and have it do it. I haven't played too much with that. I don't really have a need for it.
Okay, cool. Um, Here we go. Do you have a class on how to set up tone and for your ideal client?
I don't have a class I've done on that. I did it on a group call. So I have the group call recorded. It was, when was it from? So inside my Social Agent Pro membership, it was a group call probably 6 weeks ago, and we spent about 75 minutes, and we walked through exactly how to do it. Like I showed how to grab a transcript and how to build that all out. That's inside my dashboard, I think. Let me look and see if I can find it. Content, workshops. Let's see. I think I did that.
While you're doing that, Sharon's question was if you had the prompt. I screenshotted it on my computer and I just put it in the chat if you want to steal that.
Yeah, I think this is one of the calls.
Is that Loom you're using to shoot that, or is it something else?
That's Riverside, actually.
Riverside. I
Yeah.
tried using Loom. I
So
just didn't like it.
yeah, so I wouldn't say I have a class on it, but I did do it on a recorded call, and we walked through how to do this live on this right here. Um, it's behind a paywall, but there's a 7 day, like you get 7 days of free access if you want to access this. If you want that, you just email me at will@itswilldraper.com and I can send you a link to it.
Cool. Sharon says, thank you, but does he recommend an app system to schedule Chat GPT upgrades in advance? I think that's what we were just talking about, because you can use what's called Zapier and it'll automatically do that, or you can put it into a content calendar. I know Sonia, my assistant's on here. A lot of the stuff we post on Chat GPT and the other places, we actually use our CRM, right, Sonia? She's probably like working in the background and going, God, why are you calling on me?
Here, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, we create it in Chat GPT, create the post, and the post is scheduled through Lofty to land on Google Business, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And then just to be organized about it, we keep a manual DIY Google Sheet content calendar. So it's a Google Sheet content calendar. We planted it in advance, and it has the post caption from the Chat GPT and all the hashtags. And then every day we know what we're doing. We go into Lofty. We can do it post immediately or schedule it out for whenever.
Yeah.
But it's just copy pasting in all of our work that we've done ahead of time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank you.
instead of using like automatic stuff, so I use Metricool, guys. This is my social media scheduling platform. And another reason why I don't like to just do ChatGPT to Zapier to Google Business Profiles or something like that is because I can't analyze what's going on and what kind of performance I'm seeing. So like when I'm planning out my content, as you can see, this was my June content calendar, and I had it planned out before June even started. So it shows every platform, every post of where it goes. And yes, I utilize ChatGPT to help with a lot of this content, but I like to schedule it on this dashboard, because once I do that, I can go in and look at my analytics per my platform, even including Google Business Profile. and see what kind of traction I'm getting. And if you just automatically use like Zapier for that, you're not going to have access to that. And analytics are more important to me than the hour it takes me to plan my content for an entire month, right? I want to see like what's performing, and you can't really get that when you're using Chat GPT and automation, if you will. So I'm using automation. I just don't use Chat GPT for automation. I use a different specific software platform. And I think, honestly, I think a lot of people get caught up with Chat GPT as like this shiny object, like it can do everything. I use it as a tool. It's not the end all be all. I use it to help me become more efficient at what I'm doing. But there's other better tools out there to do work. So like scheduling social media and all that stuff, Metricool, Loomly, all of those tools are awesome. So that's how I like to do it.
If you want to reach out to Will, you can find him on Instagram. It's Will Draper. Facebook. He also has a few websites. So we have YouTube Unlocked website. If you're curious about upping your YouTube game, we're soft launching it now. We'll start really pushing it here in the next week or two.